Today on Nothing Major, we're going to recap the Madrid Open, and we're also going to preview the Rome Masters just ahead of us. Jannik Sinner's returning, so we're going to talk about all that. We're going to probably include some more awful predictions as well. So that's all ahead on Nothing Major, so let's get it going. All right, everyone, welcome back to Nothing Major. John Isner here with Sam Querrey, Jack Sock, Steve Johnson, and Charlie Fox and his team at Sift Creative. Madrid just finished, guys. Casper Ruud and Arena Sabalenka with big titles. I think especially for Casper, this is his first title at this level. He's been so close on so many levels in these big finals. He's finally able to break through. I actually want to start real quick with you, Sam, and give you some credit because you actually quasi predicted this. Stevie doesn't want to give you any credit on the men's side.
He got some credit, but he quit on him halfway through. I mean, that's not backing your horse.
I briefly quit on him, and thank you, John, for the credit. In our pre-intro, you mentioned some more bad predictions. I had great predictions this week. Casper Ruud, and I picked Sabalenka. I picked both the champions.
I thought you picked Sabalenka as well, Sam.
Yes, congrats on the Sabalenka. You didn't quit
Casper.
on her.
I picked Casper. Go back and look at the recording, Stevie.
Okay, which one though?
Any one that I picked Casper.
He did.
It's all of them.
I know you picked him, and then you quit on him, and then you picked him again.
No, I mean,
I quit on for 90 seconds. I had a brief lapse of poor judgment, and I lost faith in him, and I came back.
Okay.
And I'm glad I did.
I'm with Sam. We were asked to choose our Madrid winners. Winner was in the round of 16 and round of 32, and he correctly picked both winners. I picked Sasha Zverev, and he immediately lost. Jack, I think you picked Fritzy, who lost to Casper. Much better than me, because I'm the jinx, right? So anyone I pick is going to lose right away. But Sam, as good as your Madrid predictions were, your take on, just really quick, your take on Subtitles, not as good. Because look, if you look at the comments on YouTube, and we are going to put this up to a poll on our social media, I'm right so far, Sam. The majority of people listen to their English shows or whatever their language is in subtitles. And I think that's been proven. So what do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, well, first of all, Stevie was on my side too about the weird subtitles.
I'm absolutely also on your side.
Yeah, Jack was as well. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I don't know anyone that watches English shows with subtitles. But yes, based on the YouTube comments that we got, John was correct. I'm curious to see once we get to some Instagram polls where there's more youths.
Youths. Say that word again.
Youths.
You sound like my cousin Vinny. Remember that movie?
Yeah. Youths. Once we get the youths voting, I feel like it's going to swing back in our favor. I still don't think the majority of people watch shows with subtitles.
I will say John has been boots on the ground. We were in Tulsa together this last weekend. He has been asking everyone in every situation about the subtitle thing. And I think it's an age thing, personally. The older you are, you're having the subtitles. But I think he's right. I think it's 60-40 with subtitles. I refuse to do it.
So, look, I actually think you're wrong. It's not an age thing. It is an age thing. It's an age thing for the younger generation. It's become much more of a thing in the last 3-4 years. I think it's the younger generation that prefers the subtilons on.
The youths?
I disagree with that sentiment after being with you and asking questions.
This wasn't a thing 10 years ago. Now it is. Everyone, me included, myself included, watching shows with the subtitles. I did not do it 10 years ago. Now I do it exclusively.
Yeah. Well, no, but early polling looks as if you're in the majority here with the subtitle thing.
How do you even know what's going on the screen? You have to read sentences the whole time. The whole thing doesn't make sense. I don't even care what the votes are in the casting and the polls. I'll never agree to this. It's not.
Well, I actually saw a comment on our YouTube. I need to create a YouTube account as well so I can reply in. I don't know if I have an account. Anyways, but their point was there's a lot of mumbling in shows, and I think that's correct. That's my whole point. It's hard to get everything without the subtitles. And also, subtitles will even give you the background chatter. What people are saying on the background that you're really not even supposed to know what they're saying, and the subtitles will give you that. So you're able to...
It's confusing.
It's not confusing. It's not confusing at all. But we're going to put that up to a poll. Guys, I appreciate everyone who chimed in on our socials supporting my thesis there. We're also, I think, which we also put up on social, the Aura draw. Guys, I think we're going to go ahead with this, right? We're going to create a 16-man Aura draw, and this is going to drop next Monday, and we're going to have the fans vote on it just like they did the Hottie draw. I think we got a decent traction on that. So what do you guys think? We think this is good, and I think this is a decent sequel, better than the Hottie coaches draw in my mind. Stevie, what do you think?
Yeah. And we have to remember that there's a caveat there. It's no Rafa, no Rogers.
Yes.
People with too much aura would automatically win. So we're going to exclude a few players from that department, but I think it's going to be great. A lot of swagger in the 80s and 90s.
I don't think Rafa has aura, really. Do you?
You think he walks around the French Open with no aura? He's got a statue out there.
Well, it's not just the French Open aura; it's just general aura. He's got some, but I don't think he's like an auto into the aura draw.
I just think he's an easy answer when you put him up in a draw against somebody, he wins.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, look, but as you said, we have guidelines on this. It's players that retired before 2010 and played in that 30-year period between 1980 and 2010. So that's anyways. Fed and Rafa, they're out automatically because they just retired. But Rafa without any aura is an interesting take.
Yeah.
What do you?
I just said not a ton of aura.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It depends on. I guess we define aura. You didn't see him dressing up. I feel like it outside the court and having that that dude's so swaggy. He was obviously just a bulldog and intimidating to play against on court. But
Rafa's blue collar. I feel like he's the anti aura, blue collar riding in coach.
I get what you're going at.
Yeah.
Just hard hat on, right?
Yes, exactly.
Still lives his home city where he's from, not some penthouse in Monte Carlo and doing the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, back to Madrid. Let's get back to the tournament, which just finished. Let's start on the men's side with Casper Ruud defeating Jack Draper in the final 6-4 in the third. This is Casper's biggest title of his career. Do you guys, and he's back into the top 10, do you guys think this will give him the necessary confidence to possibly win the French Open? And where would y'all put him on your list of favorites at the French Open after this Madrid title? Obviously, we all know he's made 2 French Open finals, falling short there, but he looked fantastic in Madrid. He was flying all over the court. Jack, where do you put him in terms of French Open favorites right now?
I probably have him behind Sinner and Alcaraz, even with Sinner's time off. I think after this win, obviously Zverev, is up there, but I think the confidence from this title will definitely help him going into there, especially with the 2 finals he's made there prior. I'm shocked that's his first Masters Series title. I didn't know that. That's for as good as he is. But yeah, put him in. He's top. He's probably 3 or 4 on there on the list behind. I just think. Yeah, whatever with Sinner being out with some time, I still think he's going to be the guy to beat. But we'll see it this week in Rome.
Yeah, for Casper's sake, that was his 7th try at a mass of a big final, either Master Series, Grand Slam, or the ATP final. So for him to get over the hump there is huge for the confidence, for the belief, for that extra 1% that he feels like he needs to get over the line in a slam or one of these finals. So to have done it, to beat somebody of Draper's caliber, who is maybe playing some of the best tennis of anyone on tour this year. So I think he has a great chance to go into the French. He believes he can win these tournaments. So it's great for him and his overall, mental state, just getting the job done in a big tournament like this. So I would definitely look to him as somebody who's definitely in the top 5 favorites going into Roland Garros.
I think Sinner and Alcaraz are the 2 favorites, and then there's 10 guys that are tied for the 3rd favorites, and Ruud being one of them, Draper being one of them at this point, Rune being one of them, Mensik. There's the list goes on. There's so many guys that are the 3rd favorite, but yeah, Casper's got himself back into the mix. I think prior to this tournament, we would have said there's no way he's got a shot to even make a final at the French Open. But now he's back and tied for the 3rd favorite to make the final or to win it.
Yeah, I'm kind of more on personally. I think I'm more on Jack's side. I would put him as the 3rd favorite, considering he has made 2 finals before. Just And I know the Madrid conditions are very different than any other clay court event, given how the ball flies. But he looked sharp out there. He was moving so incredibly well. So I'm going to put him as like a solid third favorite. But again, he is a tier or two behind Sinner and Alcaraz. So it'll be interesting to see once Roland Garros rolls around. But now let's go on to Jack Draper. He's up to number 5 in the world. And most importantly, probably, he's number 2 in the race to Turin. Not far from Carlos Alcaraz. Did y'all see this coming? Like, I certainly didn't. Like, this is what a crazy good year he's had. And also, is he a threat on any surface now? Do you guys consider him? I know he just made the finals of Madrid, but do you guys consider him like a serious threat potentially on clay, like this year and going forward in his career? Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm more impressed with Draper than I am Casper. We've seen Casper have big clay court results before, but Draper won Indian Wells. I don't think many people had him penciled into the finals of Madrid. When you watch him play, he's just like unloading on balls, forehands, backhands, the movement's there, the confidence there. Yes, he's a threat on every surface, and I'm so impressed with Draper right now. I'm becoming more and more of a fan every time I watch him play.
Yeah, and I don't have anything like, I don't know why I just can't accept him being like a top tier player yet. I don't know, but he's proving people wrong every week, and yeah, he's being 2 in the race at this point in the year, and like I said, just being top 5 now in the world. He's there, he's established himself. But when I think about a tournament or somebody going to win a tournament, he's still like, I don't know, in that third tier for me for whatever reason. So nothing against him. He's probably going to prove us wrong again, or keep proving people wrong. But and good on him for playing this well, and hopefully he keeps it going, because it's fun to watch. It really is.
Yeah, he's got an incredible competitive nature. Every time you see him go out on court, he's a bulldog out there. He grinds, he battles, he competes to the last ball. The only thing that we've seen in the last couple years of any worry is just him staying healthy. And if he can do that, he's clearly showing that his tennis is good enough. The fact that he is left-handed obviously throws a bit of a wrinkle in there to some guys, and he's got a cannon of a serve. He seems mentally strong as anyone out on tour. So I think he is an absolute threat to be a major contender now going forward based on his results end of last year, early this year. He has that pedigree of winning bigger titles, and now it's just kind of time for him to take that next step forward in one of these slams.
Yeah, I mean, his I don't know if you guys know, you probably have, his movement out of the corners.
It's very good.
It's become like a complete weapon. Like, he gets pulled to his backhand side on clay, and boom, he's sliding into it, and he's back to the middle of the court. I mean, his movement, I think, from the corners has improved so much. I think, to your point, Stevie, that's probably because he's had a good stretch of health. So he's been able to train properly. Seems to be, of course, a crazy good athlete, playing with crazy confidence right now. You guys know how that is. He doesn't really seem like he's thinking too much out there. Just see ball, hit ball. It will be interesting to see if his confidence dips a little bit. Can he hit with that sort of conviction each and every match? I don't know, but he's certainly established himself, and up to number 2 in the race to Turin. Do you guys potentially see him, Draper, finishing, let's say, top 4 in the world this year? Sam,
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, let's just look at the results. A different guy wins every tournament every single week. Of course, he has just as good a chance as anyone to finish top 4 in the world.
All right. Well, credit to Draper. I didn't think any of us saw him making the finals of Madrid, and almost damn near winning Madrid.
I think he was up a break in the third set early on.
Anyways, let's move on to the WTA side, where Sabalenka defeated Coco Gauff 6-3, 7-6 in the finals. We've talked about Sabalenka a lot. She's clearly the dominant force on the WTA tour, and right now she has this Novak Djokovic type stranglehold on the number 1 ranking. She's 4,500 points ahead of Iga Swiatek. Why does her game translate? Did you guys, I guess, are you guys surprised that it translates so well to clay, or just doesn't really matter what the surface is? Jack, what do you think about the arena?
Yeah, I think it's every surface. Obviously, I think she plays massive, but she's obviously just very comfortable on every surface. She's very confident on every surface. It seems like when she goes out to play, she thinks she's going to beat everybody that she plays. She's showing it with the results. Like you said, the ranking difference is crazy. And I don't really see that train stopping anytime. I think she's the favorite going into every week. She's proving it week in and week out. And wouldn't be surprised if she puts together a insane second half of the year as well.
Yeah, Jack said it best. When you hit the ball that hard, doesn't matter the surface. Grass, clay, indoor, cow dung. Like she's just gonna roll people. She's so good. And she, like the men's side, we kind of argue, yes, Sinner's ranked 1, but like Alcaraz is right there. We think like Zverev might jump him. Draper's there. There's this conversation. There's not a conversation on the women's side of like who is clearly number 1 and dominant, and it's Sabalenka.
Oh, okay. Is she the clear dominant favorite to win Roland Garros?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens in Rome.
Yeah, I agree. Irrespective of the results in Rome.
I mean, if you look at her tennis, in the finals of Australia this year, the only person that beat her was Maddie Keys in that event, who basically hit it harder and more precise than Sabalenka did in the big moments. And Sabalenka is somebody that stands in the middle of the court. She dominates the flow of the match, how the match is played, from serve, from return, from first ball. So it's not surprising. She definitely, she wins Madrid in kind of dominant fashion because that court is going to be faster. But her tennis is obviously, by ranking, by how well she has done over the past 12 months, is head and shoulders above everyone else in the women's game at this moment.
I'm personally going to pump the brakes on that. I think I'm going to put her as like co-favorites at the French with Iga, because obviously that's been really happy hunting grounds for Swiatek at Roland Garros.
For sure.
Sabalenka's never won this one, so I think there's a lot of intrigue on the women's side at the French Open coming up. So she's obviously going to be the number 1 seed. Probably will be the odds maker's favorite, but she's never won the French Open before. So let's see if she can get over the hurdle there. And what about Coco Gauff, guys? She's been having a bit of a, I guess for her standards, a bit of a uneven year in terms of results, but she made the finals of Madrid, losing to Sabalenka in a close match. Obviously, no shame in that. She's back up to number 3 in the world. Do you guys put her in that, top tier of players that can win the French Open? Maybe would you put her behind Iga and Arena, or would you put her maybe even ahead of one of those two players at the French Open? Sam, what do you think?
I honestly wasn't listening to anything you just said, but I just looked up, and Iga Swiatek, current odds maker to win the French Open on DraftKings, with Sabalenka number 2.
So there
I can answer that question.
So someone answered the question that I wasn't listening to.
No, I don't care that you weren't listening to me. No. Well, I was talking about Coco Gauff.
Oh, yeah. I was looking up relevant information to the pod, just so you know.
Yeah, no, that's great. I don't.
Right. Go ahead, Stevie. Answer the question.
I think Coco has. I mean, she definitely has a chance. I mean, she is one of, if not the best competitor, and I think the most mentally kind of like stable. Week in and week out, day in and day out on the women's side. I mean, she shows up and she competes. She may not have some of her best tennis. We know, her forehand is her weaker side, and sometimes the serve can kind of go off the rails as well. But when she steps on court, she never seems to have any attitude issues so she goes out there to compete, which is men's tennis, women's tennis is some of the most important aspects to have, is to just go out there and compete, point in and point out. And I think she's going to take a lot of confidence from this Madrid final that she is starting to play some of her best tennis. And I do think she is the 3rd favorite to get to a French Open title. And, for her, it's, where she's at where she's going to be seated 3 or 4 at the French Open. It's going to be draw dependent. Does one of them lose early, Iga or Sabalenka, and maybe get through one of those? Because it's going to be tough to get through both, I think, in a tournament like that.
Yeah. Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this week was huge for her, because I think watching her kind of coming in this, it honestly seemed like she was getting a little stressed out on the court maybe at times, or like maybe starting to overthink things in her game. You could almost even see it on her face at times. It looked like maybe the pressure of getting a good result was maybe building up or piling up. And then like Stevie said, her serve seemed to be going off, and the confidence didn't seem to be there. So I think this week was huge for her. This result was huge for her going into a slam. I don't have her. I think it's Sabalenka, Swiatek at the top, and then everyone else after that for the title. So she's kind of just in that next tier, like a bunch of girls that can win the tournament. I think that'll be big going into Roland Garros, but I don't have her winning the tournament or just in that next tier.
Sam, how big of a favorite is Iga? Is Sabalenka like right behind her? If you know how to read odds.
I'm going to read you the odds right now. Iga is plus 160 and Sabalenka is plus 275.
Oh. Okay. That's a pretty...
Hey, also...
That's a pretty decent margin.
When we were talking about the Gasquet thing, just so everyone knows, Gasquet will come out in an interview. If you're plus 20,000, is that bet 100 to win $20,000? Is that not how it works?
No.
How does it work then?
20,000, and so you bet $100 at a 20,000 to 20,000 plus 20,000.
Yes, if someone's plus 20,000,
you would take the 2 zeros from the 100 cents. We'll take an even number, and you add it on to the 20,000. That's what you would win.
You bet your life on that?
Pretty sure.
So no, you don't know for sure. That's what you're getting at.
Okay.
When you're coming at me like you know, I don't think you know. But you're backtracking now.
You've said 20,000 to 1, then you said plus 20,000. Like,
yeah. So what's
if
plus 20,000?
Yeah, like if Iga is plus 160 to win the French, you'd have to bet. You'd have to put 100 down to win 160.
If you're plus 20,000, what is it? You bet 100 to win
20 grand.
According to Stevie, it's 2 million.
Yeah, I think that's 20,000 to 1. We might get clarification.
Yeah,
we're not that.
20,000 to 1.
Okay. 20,000 to 1 is different than plus 20,000.
Yeah, it's a difference.
First, when he first said it was 20,000 to 1.
Right.
And maybe he said that at 20,000 to 1.
That's a big difference.
Yes, that's bet $1 and win $20,000. But I think plus 20,000 is different because
if plus 20,000 is getting you 2 million, we should go put $100 on like a bunch of plus 20,000 people right now.
Yeah.
But those odds, you would just lose $100.
But 25 each.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right. Whatever.
All right.
Honestly, I think it's it's not 20. It's different than 20,000 to 1. But good point, Sam.
That's what Sam said to begin with.
Plus 20,000, put 100 down would be what Stevie said, 2 mil. But
all right. In other tournament news that was going on concurrently as Madrid was finishing up, and we talked about this last week. We actually did a whole segment on this. Naomi Osaka specifically dropping down to play a $125,000 event. Dropped down, obviously needing some confidence. We talked about her prospects there, and sure enough, she goes down there, keeps her head down, takes care of business, wins that tournament. So she gets a lot of matches in a row to build her confidence going forward in the clay court season. So this is also the first clay court title of her career. Is that
so
correct,
weird,
guys?
Yeah,
that is.
correct.
Yeah, I'm reading that right now, and I'm like, it just kind of took me back. But is she back? Like, does she qualify for someone that can be she's never a dark horse, right? But her ranking is not indicative of how good her play is. So with Naomi Osaka, with a lot of confidence, I think everyone would agree is a threat. Really at any tournament she's going to play, maybe even at Roland Garros, right, guys?
I mean, we talked about it last week. It's a tough proposition to be in, especially in someone of her shoes, with the success she has had in her career, to go back down a massive level to play a challenger event on the women's side. And she was down a set and a break, I believe, her first round in that tournament. So that could have gone south quickly for her in that event, and could have gone the other way in her confidence and her belief to win. But ultimately, she battled through some serious adversity, got through a challenger event, which is still not easy to win in anyone's shoes. But great for her to get that win, get some matches, to go back down a level and win a tournament. It's always good to be the last person standing in any event, regardless of level. So good for her to get that, and hopefully she can carry some of that success to the WTA level.
It's cool to win it. She's like so far away from a threat at the French Open still.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. All right, enough of last week. But it was a good week on tour. Sabalenka, big win.
One shout out. Can I do one shout out to my dark horse in Madrid was Alex Mickelson, who lost first round, but then won Estoril, the 175.
That doesn't count. Give me a break.
It kind of I'm just saying.
No, you won 2 tournaments
well
last week.
I won 2 tournaments.
You predicted everything, right?
I want credit for my Mickelson dark horse. He just dark horsed me in the wrong tournament.
He wasn't a dark horse as the second seed.
Not true. I told him he can come on when he's top 30. That put him up to 32 in the world, so he's getting close.
Ooh, beautiful. He's following the pod. All right, we're going to talk a little Rome now. We're going to keep it on the men's side because there's a lot of intrigue on the men's side this week in Rome. Obviously, the number one story is Jannik Sinner returning. How do you guys think the locker room is going to welcome him back? I personally don't think it's going to be an issue. Jack, what do you think the locker room is going to be like? What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like that with Sinner walking the halls probably right now as he's doing?
In general, I don't think it's going to be an issue. I don't think anyone's going to obviously be weird towards him. I'm assuming some players probably have their own thoughts and feelings inside. But I don't. It's not going to be some drama or big thing. I don't think, especially playing in his home country in front of his home fans, they're going to welcome him. As the viewers there, they're going to welcome him, I'm sure, with open arms and be overly excited to see him play. And he's probably the favorite to win even after 3 months off. So it should be exciting. It'll be exciting to watch the tournament unfold and then obviously watch him play in front of his home fans.
Do you guys think it'll be easier or harder for him to, like, because of the pressure in his home event? Do you think that's going to be a good thing for him to spur him on to play some good tennis, or do you think the home pressure? I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be too much for the number one player in the world, but do you guys think this first event being at home is a good or bad thing for him?
I think it's a good thing. It's going to be interesting because I'm more interested to see how the media are going to react to him in post-match press conferences and whatnot. If it's going to be kind of softball questions, hard questions. I'm wondering what direction they are going to take in that. But the tennis aspect, I think, is going to be a non-issue. I mean, we know for all of us last year at the U.S. Open when this news all broke that he did test positive, which is got to be hard on anyone. He went out and won the U.S. Open. So I don't feel like there's going to be any pressure in that regard while he steps on court. He's going to be the home favorite. Everyone's going to love him there. But I'm just interested to see like what the media has to say or how they're going to frame his comeback. And I am interested to see, maybe more so than Jack, what the locker room is like. Because I do feel like there's going to be some guys that are not going to be fond of him based on some of the other rulings that have came out in tennis and the favorability that he that some people feel that he got in that case. So I'm interested to see, but ultimately I think he is going to be someone that doesn't skip a beat. He's going to go out and have a chance to compete for a Rome title.
And I'm not saying some people don't feel some type of way about that, but they're not going to like outwardly express that. There's not going to be like drama behind it is what I'm saying. But I'm sure there's a large majority of people that aren't going to be happy with it.
I feel like it's kind of neutral. If he loses early in a third round, you kind of have the storyline of he hasn't played much. If he wins it, you have the storyline of he got some time off, he's feeling fresh. So I feel like it's kind of like a neutral week for him in terms of there's no pressure is pressure. It's like a appropriate amount of pressure. And I don't think we can make much of this tournament either way.
He also seems like one of the most unfazed players of all time. So I don't think any of that will. So,
I mean, he's still going to go out there and see the ball and crack it at Mach 10.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, he's been training. It's not like he hasn't been hurt. So he's going to be sharp. He does maybe a little light on matches, but in a weird way, could he be the biggest winner from all of this, from a rest and recharge standpoint? Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you just are looking at this from a ranking standpoint, things went perfectly for him. Someone different won every tournament. So there's no one really threatened him at that number one ranking spot. So he got some rest. Not that you need rest when you're like 22 years old. He would have much rather been playing, obviously. But yeah, as far as like ranking goes and who won tournaments, couldn't have worked out any better.
No, I think this Rome event on the men's side has a lot more intrigue than Madrid did. Obviously, Novak is not playing Rome, but Sinner and Alcaraz are, and they, those two aforementioned players were not in Madrid. So Sinner, Alcaraz, probably the top two favorites there. Who needs a bigger, stronger, better result at Rome ahead of the French Open in y'all's mind? Is it Sinner or or is it Carlos Alcaraz, Jack?
I think Carlos, just because he's been playing all year. Like I said a second ago, I think Yannick is one of the most unfazed players. I don't think him having a few months off or results maybe get to him. Obviously, Carlos, we've now heard, pressure and stuff does get to him, as it does every player, but he's talking about it now. I'd say for his standards, he probably hasn't had some of the results he's liked. He didn't play Madrid, so he's got, a Master Series, which I'm sure he wanted to in front of his home fans. Now he's got a Master Series in Rome to go hopefully get a really good result ahead of, and I'm assuming he's not going to be playing the week before the French. So this is kind of his last big event before, a title that I'm sure he thinks and knows he can win at Roland Garros. So, I think Carlos for sure in that.
Yeah, I would say neither one of those guys need a win more than Sasha Zverev in this tournament. He's had a roller coaster of a year. Obviously, we've talked about it in length on this podcast and previous ones. But winning Munich was huge for him to get a title under his belt, to go through some adversity. But ultimately, Munich, or I guess it's a 500 now, but he's after thousands in Grand Slam. So he needs a big result here in Rome. For him, he would like to get another win here, the defending champion. So if he can get a win here, that will bode well for him going into Roland Garros. If he loses in a final to Sinner or Alcaraz, that's a different story of, okay, his game is still there, but he needs a deep run, and I think he needs to make a Sunday to have any real chance at winning the Roland Garros in a couple weeks.
Also, quick shout out to Nicholas Jerry. When he doesn't defend his final, will be outside the top 100. So
That's your guy, Sam.
That was my dark horse last week.
That was Jack's dark horse.
Yep.
Yeah, Jack's dark horse. But you were talking about how good he is. He is good.
I think he's really good, but he's also about to be out of the top 100.
I'd completely forgotten that he made the finals of Rome last year. So he's about to, as I mentioned, he's about to fall off a cliff ranking wise. But any other players in Rome that you guys think, any other intriguing storylines for you guys on the men's side? Like Musetti's going to be playing at home. He had a making the semifinals of Madrid. He played really well there, and he's top 10 in the world now. Like, what do we think about Musetti in Rome? It's obviously beautiful to watch. Like, I want to see him play there, and I want to see the crowd get behind him in Rome.
Yeah, Musetti's putting up consistent results week in, week out. Beautiful game, like you said. The one-hander, he's a good watch, an easy watch. The sleeveless shirt's got to go, but other than that, like, everything is great.
Disagree.
About Musetti. You like him in the sleeveless?
It's like a long sleeveless.
It's
not a good sleeveless.
Sleeve.
No. It's got to go.
I do hope Fognini wins his first round, so him and Berrettini play each other in Rome.
Oh, that would be juicy.
The next one would be fun.
I did see that.
All right, y'all. Favorite court in Rome? I think I know the answer.
Not anymore.
What?
They covered all the statues on Pietrangeli.
Oh,
What do you mean?
They
With like tarps?
they put stands around it to make the stadium bigger. It looks like from all the photos. You can't see all the statues.
I did not know that. Sam, did you know that?
I did not know that either.
Jack?
I saw that on a couple
don't
of
think you knew
guys,
that.
like Instagram practicing out there.
I also was not. It's like the coolest looking court, but I didn't like playing on that court. Hot take.
No, I liked playing. I think the court that they use, like, that's not their second stadium court. It's
Their
that
third.
other one that, like, this super
Tennis.
something.
Super tennis arena.
Super tennis arena. Yeah, super tennis arena. That's brutal court. I didn't like that. I think center court's kind of cool because it is like a Coliseum. It goes straight up. But Stevie, if you're correct, that's very sad to cover up all the statues, because you could argue that's between that court and Monte Carlo and like, Wimbledon Center Court, probably like the prettiest courts all year. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, no. If you pulled the players, top 5 court around the world for sure.
Crazy atmosphere on that statue court as well.
It was the third court technically there, but they treated it as if it was the second court in a way. They always put great matches out there, crowd favorite players. It was a special place.
And what are y'all's thoughts on for the fans of the pod? What do y'all think of the bull ring they have there in Rome? They have the 2 courts in the back, well, 4 courts really, but the 2 courts they use for singles in the back, right beside each other. It's like a college tennis match. There's no fence in between. Balls are flying all over the place. Crowds cheering for the next court while your point's going on. Did you guys enjoy playing back there in that bull ring type atmosphere?
I loved it back there. Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah, the ball. I think the atmosphere was nice. The ball always felt like crispy in there. It felt good, like on the clay. Yeah, it was nice.
It's interesting to play there in the back. The atmosphere is nuts. Yeah, it's just Rome's a great event. On the women's side, the headlines, of course, it's the usual suspects. It's Iga. She's the defending champ, but has not won a title in 2025. Does she need a title here, guys? Y'all think, or does she's like so confident in Roland Garros it doesn't matter?
I think she would like to have a title in Rome for sure. I mean, that would bode well for her going into Roland Garros. Anytime you can be the last person standing in any event, it's going to be huge for the confidence. And the way she has dominated the clay courts the last couple years is remarkable. So for her to get a title here, I think will further her chances and maybe even lower her odds for a French Open title in a couple weeks. So I think she gets it done in Rome and kind of gets back on track on her best surface.
I mean, she was having some in the semifinal loss against Coco in Madrid. She was having some issues on court. She was pretty visibly upset and frustrated. So we'll see if she can temper her anger this week in Rome. Defending champ. Obviously, last year she won that and went on to win Roland Garros. So it'll be interesting to see if Iga can take the title there. So I think we're actually going to wait. Because these tournaments are so long, we're going to wait kind of like we did for Madrid. Like, we're going to wait as this tournament gets a little bit deeper into it to make our predictions for the winner. So we're going to give our bad predictions on the Friday show. Is that cool with you guys?
Yeah.
That works. Gives us a better chance.
Credit to Stevie, by the way.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
and they're getting criticism over this. The headline of it, drawing a bunch of criticism over. Yeah, they're blocked.
That's a great court, but yeah, I get why they want more stands, but it's just such a bummer.
Yeah, well, that tournament it's so popular. You remember when you pull in and they have like that line of like the autograph row and you got to walk through. It's crazy, but the fans love it there in Rome. That's a shame, Stevie. Did not know that.
Never had to worry about the autograph row there in Rome, John. Thank you though.
All right, well, I think every player did. You had to walk through it every single year. Not you, Stevie?
Yeah, I walked through it. I just never got asked. It's no problem.
Hey, who's that?
Fisio.
All right, that's it for Nothing Major on this Monday. Appreciate you guys tuning in and sticking with us some more. We're going to end the show with some more trivia, which I got to toot my own horn. I've been pretty good at lately. I want to see if I can continue my hot streak here. So if Charlie and the team have this question, let's see it. The question is, which man has played the most matches in Rome history? Do we want to collectively come up with an answer or give our own here?
Rafa seems too obvious.
Yeah,
it does seem too obvious.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
So we're collectively not going with Rafa.
Yeah, but he's got 10 titles.
I know. He's got 10 titles.
That's
so
5 matches there.
him.
That's 50 matches
right there, just in his 10 titles alone.
5 or 6.
Yeah, but which Italian wildcard has played it like 20?
Yeah, but if they
does it matter?
Yeah, but if they've lost first or second round.
Is there some old Italian guy that was really good?
Dude, I'm going to go with Rafa. No, I'm just going to go with Rafa.
Yeah, Rafa's been playing this since like 2000.
Yeah, give us Rafa.
I'm just going to go with
by a
Rafa.
mile.
It has to be Rafa.
Djokovic. Rafa's probably pulled out a handful of times,
Yeah.
and Djokovic is getting, I guess, 3-4 matches. Shame on us.
Novak.
cold.
It did seem too obvious. It
Yeah,
did
it
seem
did.
too obvious.
Yeah.
Charlie never gives the obvious questions with the answer. You gotta.
And Novak has tied Rafa for the most finals.
Well, I guess,
played.
Wouldn't have
most
gotten that.
matches played, not won. Is that a difference or no? Does
Yeah, it's
Rafa have
played.
more?
It's played.
Yeah, I know, but does Rafa have more wins? Do you know what I mean?
I would imagine so.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
10
All right.
titles. Yeah.
That's where we were off.
Most overall wins. Yeah.
All right.
70 wins in Rome. Sam, do you have 70 clay court wins? Like, period?
I probably do, you jerk.
I don't know.
That's like just under
Actually,
half of
I don't know.
matches
Actually,
I
I
won
would
in
say
my
Sam
career.
doesn't have 70.
I don't know. You have like over 350 wins, but I don't like the majority of
I don't
those are on
think he
hard
has.
court, Sam.
I have 52, so.
Are you kidding me? You're not even close, dude.
That's pretty close.
Rafa has as
really.
many. Man.
18 is not close at all.
Rafa played Rome 11 times, and he has more wins than you on clay. in your entire
you're a hard
career.
court guy, Sam. It's not knocking you. Just saying, it's just giving credit to your hard court and grass court prowess. That's all it was.
Let's see how many Stevie has.
Yeah, how many clay court wins does the?
I don't know. I can't find it. We'll dive into that another time.
All right. Good show, boys.